Burntrap and the Blob are underappreciated and misunderstood, and I'm going to explain why. That's some good tea. These characters were introduced in the true ending of FNaF Security Breach to mixed reception by fans. I love these characters and think they deserve more respect. However, I understand the reasons that they don't get the respect they're due, and it's quite interesting if you ask me. The hate these characters get, while undeserved in my opinion, makes sense for the most part. I don't agree with it, but I cannot say there's a justifiable reason for it. So I'm going to be talking about it here, and perhaps this will give you a bit of perspective on how these are two of my favorite characters in the whole FNaF franchise. Heck, Burntrap is my favorite character, period. So first let's talk about my boy the Blob. This will be a complicated topic to cover, but I'm going to figure out how to structure this coherently. Okay, so the Blob showed up kinda completely out of nowhere at the end of Security Breach and was hated by FNaF fandom because it supposedly ruined the ending of Pizzeria Simulator. Many people, upon seeing this big boy, assumed he was the original Missing Children spirits, and Happiest Day has not happened yet. I do still think this is possible. I'm not going to say it isn't still completely possible, but Tales from the Plex has made this pretty unlikely in my opinion. While there are very big differences in their designs, I can't blame people for seeing two piles of wires wearing Funtime Freddy as their face, and assuming they are the same thing. The bigger problem was how some people treated this as definitive fact. What do I think the Blob actually is, though? I think it's very likely that it's kind of like a more awesome and scary and moving version of the ball pit from Fazbear Frights. What I mean is that the combined agony of every person who has ever died within the Pizzaplex has caused them to all go into this one giant representation of that agony, and so the reason the Blob is so massive is that it's dozens of souls in one massive body. This actually makes a lot of sense if you ask me. It also serves as a perfect segue into the next point of discussion about the Blob, its symbolic meaning. All these animatronics are not here for no reason. This is one giant representation of the pain caused by both William Afton and Fazbear Entertainment. The Blob really is an amazing character design. It's truly a beautifully tragic and horrifying representation of the corrupt and evil side of Fazbear Entertainment hidden behind the giant flashy pizzaplexes and colorful characters. The side that lies about innocent children being murdered and writes it off as ridiculous rumors. The side that knows how many people it's killing continues to do nothing about it besides covering up their actions. The side that traps a man in a fake life with a robot family to get him to make their games about what truly happened at their previous establishments so many decades ago. The side that wants to bring back William Afton. That's right, the Blob is about capitalism! Also, if I'm being honest, the Blob being the MCI victims would be absolute heresy to me. Sure, it would devalue the ending of Pizzeria Simulator, but I don't think it would be all bad. I believe my theory is cooler and more likely, but if MCI Blob is true, that's not the worst storytelling decision ever. It very tragically ties into the plot point of Fazbear Entertainment and pretending the murders never happened, and doesn't entirely ruin this symbolic meaning of the Blob's design that I love so much. I think it's good to be able to look on the bright side with that kind of stuff, even if most people don't do that. Oh, and I think I hear an angry mob outside my house right now. Better finish the video before they get here. Next, we have Burntrap. Now, this is what I've been waiting to talk about. While I love William Afton's other forms for various reasons, Burntrap is my personal favorite. I think in terms of writing, the Fourth Closet William takes the cake, but Burntrap is my favorite in terms of lore and design. Springtrap may be scary, but this dude easily tops Springtrap's design as much as I do love Springtrap. I said I love Springtrap. Springtrap is awesome. Calm down! I could talk for eternity about what a great character and villain William Afton is, but wait, what makes this iteration of him so special? First we'll talk about what went wrong with Burntrap. Then we'll go over what the fandom thought of him. After that I'll bring up my personal defense of him and how the issues that unfortunately drag him down could have been avoided. So, why do people hate Burntrap? Well, the answer is kind of simple. In my opinion, it's not a problem with the character himself, but how he's presented. Burntrap had little to no build-up in Security Breach, and even more importantly, if you ask me, his boss fight was completely botched. He didn't speak, nor did he directly attack the player. Instead, it was only the Glamrocs and the Blob that acted as enemies. This was ultimately what caused Burntrap's downfall. He was badly utilized in his own boss fight, which is definitely not good. Whether or not William Afton should have come back is a video all on its own, but I think it was a good thing to bring him back personally. Some people say Burntrap and the Blob should have had more screen time. Being as much of an Afton ending stan as I am, you may be surprised to know that I do not agree with this sentiment. I think they work well as epic end-of-game reveals. The problem is not how long they are present in the game for, it's how they were used in that time. More specifically, Burntrap. I feel like the execution of the Blob wasn't that bad, but it could really have used more build-up. So, why do I love Burntrap? The Tales from the Plex epilogue certainly bump Burntrap up a lot, and can be considered kind of a redemption for the character, and while the added context of these books make him so much better, I already loved him without them. Why, though? I just talked about how much they screwed him up, and now I'm saying that I think he's great with just the game itself? Yes. The boss fight was totally botched, and I won't deny that. However, like I said, it's how he was presented in the ending that's the problem, not anything about Burntrap himself. At least from my perspective, that's how it is. First, we talk about the design. Springtrap and Glitchtrap are equally as brilliant as Burntrap, but there's just something about his design that I like more. Springtrap and Glitchtrap are amazing. They are masterpieces of design. Guys, calm down. I love Springtrap and Glitchtrap. First, just look at him. This dude is scary. The tall stance, the large toothy mouth on his charred head, and the pinprick purple eyes, which can I just say, I love the way those eyes look. All of these elements come together to make a design that I personally find to be very imposing. Some people don't like the reuse of parts of Springtrap's original suit, but I personally love the way it looks. What I love so much about Burntrap having Springtrap's original suit is that you can clearly see how much the costume has decayed over the decades and is barely being held together. These metal bars, just barely keeping the suit held together, are a really overlooked aspect of Burntrap's design that I think is cool as heck. People also think Burntrap is pathetic, however I would disagree. I hate how he's too lazy to go attack Gregory himself, but the fact that he's able to pose such a threat by controlling other animatronics without having to physically do anything himself is pretty cool. I also think it's cool how he's able to hack Freddy by just touching monitors that Freddy appears on. We are not giving enough credit to how powerful this dude is. People scoff at how he seems to be so easily defeated by Gregory setting him on fire, and the Blob doing his whole Blob thing. However, I look at this from a different perspective. I think this is kind of awesome, because the fire seems to have little to no effect on him other than just making him take his hand off the monitor, and the Blob grabbing him is cool because the Blob seems to be the only thing that can really do anything to him. Even then, he certainly doesn't die here, and I don't think he's defeated either. A lot of foreshadowing has led me and many others to the conclusion that Afton will take over the Blob and combine with it, taking control over the spirits of his victims and using them to make him more powerful. That's awesome. All this is to say that, as I already said, Burntrap is awesome, but was presented in a way that ends up making him disappointing for many people, and that's perfectly understandable and I won't defend it. Now, the Tales from the Plex books. These books are so good, I love them so much. I'm about to majorly spoil them, so if you haven't read them, please abandon this video like how Scott abandoned Mendo when he put Lolbit and DD into the mainland games, and come back after you've read them if you're a FNaF fan. These books are so amazing. Okay, enough gushing. The epilogues are no exception. They are also pretty good. They're slasher pretty much. To summarize Burntrap's role in Tales from the Plex very briefly, in the first epilogue, a burnt endoskeleton with rabbit ears and a shiny head, this being Burntrap's endoskeleton, later revealed to be named the Mimic, is delivered to the FNAF 6 location, where it kills a bunch of construction workers. The building is buried by cement, and a group of teens sneak in there, where the endoskeleton kills most of them. Not all of them are dead, at least not yet. We're only 5 epilogues in so far, so we'll have to see where the plot goes from here. This doesn't sound too special just from me summarizing it, but trust me, when you read it, the Mimic is awesome. He feels like such a threat, and the way they convey William's sadistic personality without any words from the way he toys with the teenagers and stuff is some pretty good writing in my opinion. Alright, I've went over the problems with Burntrap, and I've talked about why I love him. Now, how would I make his utilization in the game better? Simple. Better boss fight. Keep the boss fight the same, Except he attacks the player occasionally and has voice lines. Man, I wish he had voice lines. He can do what Monty and Chica do, except with less warning, and he's able to get to you faster. Furthermore, I think he should be able to catch the doors and pull them up if you close them right as he gets to them, because that would be awesome and would make him way more threatening. Although I'm not sure the practicality of that idea. I don't know, I'm not a game developer. It would also be cool if there was an epic boss theme, maybe using motifs from past FNAF games. Hopefully William gets his own theme in the FNAF movie. So yeah, that's about everything that I would change to improve Burntrap's boss fight and make his execution in the game overall a lot more satisfying. Of course, it would also be a great idea to give him more build-up with Afton and Vanny talking to each other and stuff. And that's just about everything I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some perspective on why I enjoy such a widely hated part of Security Breach so much. That's all from me. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between.